Saving some of his best stuff for last in his farewell address to the nation, President Obama delivered an emotional farewell address to an adoring crowd of 18,000 in national televised audience. Calling for a rebirth of civic engagement, praising American exceptionalism, and calling for citizens, regardless of their political relations, to work together for the common good. Obama's last speech was free of the sore loser bitterness that overcame the public discourse in the couple of weeks by Democrats who could not get over the fact that Donald Trump had conquered Hillary Clinton in November's presidential election. He said, "I committed to President-elect Trump that my administration would ensure the smoothest possible transition, just as President Bush did for me, because it is up to all of us to make sure government can help us meet the many challenges we still face." By all means, he is absolutely right. Obama came a long way from when he claimed Trump to be unfit for presidency. He recognized that the voters of America are capable of making their own minds about which they think is fit to be their presidential candidate. A large portion of his speech was devoted to the state of democracy and pointed out that democracy does not require uniformity. Our founders argued, he said. They quarreled, eventually they compromised. They expected us to do the same, but they knew that democracy does not require a basic sense of solidarity, the idea that for all outward differences, we're all in this together. Mr. Obama has recognized that America is at another crossroad, that we are at all times, all Americans, to stand together. A shrinking world, growing inequality, demographic change, and the specter of terrorism, these forces haven't just tested our security and prosperity, but are testing our democracy as well. And how we meet these challenges to our democracy will determine our ability to educate our kids and create good jobs and protect our homeland. In other words, it will determine our future. The quicker America is to recognize this reality, and more rapidly our nation can be safer, more educated, and more flourishing. By getting the citizens of the United States working together and partaking in the democratic process, we can help us move one step closer to that reality. Unfortunately, many Americans today choose to enclose themselves in little bubbles, whether that may some sort of social media or group gatherings. He said, increasingly, we become so secure in our bubbles that we start accepting only information, whether it's true or not, that fits our opinions, instead of basing our opinions on evidence that is out there. Obama rightly stated that America is exceptional. The Americans have shown the capacity to change and make better life for those who follow. He himself is living proof that every citizen can make a difference in this world. If he had lived by some of these things while pushing forward with his plan, the nation could have been in better shape. His appeals for the common purpose and greater participation were well-timed and even inspirational. He said, "Our Constitution is a remarkable, beautiful gift. But it's really just a piece of parchment. It has no power on its own. We, the people, give it power. We, the people, give it meaning. Whether our participation and with the choices that we make, the alliances that we forge, whether or not we stand up for our freedoms, whether or not we respect and enforce the rule of law, that's up to us. Because for all of our outward differences, we in fact all share the same proud title, the most important office in democracy, citizen. That's what our democracy demands. It needs you. Not just when there's an election, not just when your own narrow interest is at stake, but over the full span of lifetime. If you're disappointed by your elected officials, grab a clipboard and get some signatures."